Okay, everyone, it's 4:49 p.m. on December 7th, 2014, and hope this works. Still having problems with this camera. Anyway, so yeah, what's interesting, I was like doing this yoga pose throughout the day. I mean, it's basically like it's a yoga pose technically, but it's really just lying down on your back. And it's really, 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 really helpful, beneficial, because what happens is like we tend to carry a lot of stress in our backs. You'll see sometimes people's backs are like really swollen or hard, or I'm not talking about some kind of like deformity or something, but you'll see the stress in people's back. And I started doing this years ago, and I've made a lot of progress since then. But anyway, so I was doing that for a while, and I want to do some more actually. The reason I'm doing this now is because I want to go back to doing this. I didn't go out today. I just I felt like staying in. Um, and yeah, because I want to kind of de-stress my body some more, because I have a feeling like and it's all right. You would think that lying on your back is easy, right? I mean, like, but it begins to hurt after a while. I mean, and so it's it's about distracting oneself from the pain and all. Um, all right, so I kind of like didn't really feel like doing this, but then I kind of did because I kind of like wanted to. I was curious what I would talk about, which is interesting, and it's kind of like an indication that we don't have free will, because like until we say what we say, we have no idea what we're going to say. It just comes out, and oh, so that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we have some idea, but how it's going to come out. Um, so yeah. So what else? No, happiness. That's get back to it. Um, Listening to this podcast. What's it called? Um, I don't know. It's by this Lama, this Tibetan. He's good, I think. Lamama Lamama Rut. Lama no Lama. I don't know, Lama La Rut or something. Lama Marut. Lama Marut, that's it. So anyway, he's kind of like funny, but he's good. Um, and but ordinarily, I was like, while I was doing the yoga pose, I was like meditating also, just like repeating the word happiness, which was pretty cool. Um, yeah, this is cool. Like I have no idea what to talk about, but happiness is the theme. Um, I got some peanuts in my mouth. So I was just eating peanuts. Um, so what else? What else? I don't like this visual as much as I like, when I was like sitting in front of the desk and all, because it's more interesting background, more light and stuff. But on the other hand, this is more comfortable, so like, a bit of a trade-off. Um, so, I don't know what to talk about. I haven't taken a shower or anything yet. I was just like, I'm telling you, I'm going back to that pose after I do this. Except that, this is going to take a while because then I'm going to have to like upload it to YouTube and then post it on Facebook, because that's what I do. Um, so, hopefully within an hour or so. Maybe I shouldn't make this too long. But, that's the thing. Once I start talking, I mean, like, sometimes I just want to like make it longer and, just keep talking. Although I don't think that's going to be the way this one goes. Um, so, so happiness. I guess like, like I'm kind of like, I was listening to this guy talk about happiness, and I must have listened. He's got like a whole series of podcasts, and I was listening to his first one, which is interesting, was his first one, and he says a lot of the same stuff I've been saying. So just that happiness is all there is. That's the only point of life, and that our purpose is. And I love he used the exact same expression I tend to use, to bliss out. That's our purpose, to bliss out. Most people don't realize this. Most people just I don't know. I think a lot of us are stuck on the religious kind of like mindset that, well, this life isn't for happiness. No, this life is for earning your eternal happiness after you die. You know, when you will kind of like just like bliss out there, forever and ever and ever. But this like 80 or so years here is the proving ground. Um, It's unfortunate. God, that's an unfortunate belief. That's a sad belief because so many people buy into it. And I mean, it's no great big deal actually, because I mean, like, so all right, so they sacrifice their happiness in this life, and hopefully, they're happy hereafter. Who knows what happens after we die? But like, I guess it's no big deal. I guess because like this span of time, these 80 or whatever years. Um, relative to what comes later and what came before is just like, kind of insignificant, right? Yeah, some people say, well, you got to, I mean, life is sacred, sure, but so is death. Fuck. I mean, you would think death would be a lot more sacred than life because life is just like, it's, what do you call it? It's so fleeting. It's like, it's here and gone, where like death, I mean, like, whatever it is, I don't know. That's the real eternity. That's the real existence, I guess. Um, but I don't want to talk about death. I want to talk about happiness. Happiness. Let's see. Well, I feel more relaxed. I can hear it in my voice. That's pretty cool, right? So, like, sometimes when I do these, I'm kind of like too hyper. I'm trying to calm myself down. But I think maybe because of like all the yoga I was doing like throughout the day, that that tended to happen. Because I must have woken up. I went to sleep, who knows, around 2 or so, and I wouldn't doubt I woke up at around 11. So I was like in that pose for I would guess maybe 5 hours. And for the last hour or so, I was listening to that podcast, but before that, I was just meditating, which is nice. Had a dream. Well, no, I mean, like a former classmate was in my dream. Um, a woman that I kind of like. She's like a classmate, but an acquaintance. I never really knew her. And it was interesting how like people pop into your dreams somehow. Um, and for some reason, a lot of my dream last night was kind of like, I still remember it. Ordinarily that's not the case. I have no idea what that's about. Actually, it might be because like I'm like, maybe the more relaxed you are, your back isn't all the more you remember your dreams. I don't know. Happiness. This is the problem. See, I'm illustrating the problem with happiness. I fucking can't focus on it. I mean, like, this is supposed to be about happiness. I mean, like, this is supposed to be like George Ortega video or whatever. But like, I decided that I wanted to make it on happiness because it makes sense. Because what else is there to talk about that's more important? It's more useful, you know. But I find myself like talking about, well, like what I dreamt last night. That's not really about happiness. I mean, I can't make a connection. I mean, the yoga posture, it's called savasana or savasana, dead man's pose. You just lie on your back. It's great. I mean, eventually, I'm doing it on a futon mattress because that's what I sleep on. Not this one, across the way. And but eventually, I want to do it on like the floor. I've got a little yoga mat, but it's very, very thin. It's much thinner, so it's a harder surface. But I'm not going to do that yet. I want to like ease into that because I haven't been doing this kind of practice for a long time. I'm glad I'm getting back into it. Because the cool thing is like and this is something I just realized, recently. I was meditating in my chair because that's or my recliner. That's where I usually meditate. And like then I was saying to myself, this is about happiness because like kind of like de-stressing, I think, is about happiness, because like stress is really like the body holding on to fear. So to the extent you de-stress, you de-fear, and that allows for easier happiness. So I was like, I was meditating on my recliner, but then I was noticing recently that I just like felt like lying down while meditating, and I started doing that. But then I was like lying down on my side and stuff, which actually those are other meditation positions. Lying down on your side. I forget what you call them, but I've got a book somewhere around here that explains them. Um, but it just dawned on me that forget the recliner for now. If I can like spend 2 hours, 3 hours on my back while meditating, then I'm both getting the benefit of the meditation and of my back de-stressing. That makes sense. Um, so, so. Now I feel like going out just for a while, but then I have to take a shower. I mean, what I could do, because like, yeah, I kind of feel like going out. It's Sunday night though. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Nah, I probably won't. Um, so what else? Oh, I got to upload a video. See, I'm tangenting. I'll say it. This guy who's a Facebook friend. He's a vegan. He was like, he was compelled to do a video on our lack of free will, and a great video. The guy, I mean, I think he prepared it. He was like, he presented it with someone else. Excellent video. He covered a lot, but I couldn't help but feel that these videos that I started making, kind of like motivated him to do that, because this guy, he posts a lot of material, but very few videos. Um, and so yeah, so this is the thing. I mean, like, we can get into this is about happiness. So, like, so what, see, it's not just about. Actually, that's something else. I just somebody posted something that was like, happiness isn't just about your. Oh no, somebody posted an article in a mainstream magazine, newspaper, something about like happiness being a collective experience. And so, like, yeah. So in other words, like putting oneself, out there into the universe, into the world, the world of people who know you and stuff. In this kind of way, it's like it's not done, and this is related to happiness, because like basically to the extent that we are kind of like afraid to put ourselves out there or deem it unwise, you know, I think it's problematic. I think it's, because that's indicative of a fear that's kind of like not just irrational, but not so very, um, it's a constraining fear, you know. I mean, it keeps one locked into the ego, I and thou and us and them and all that stuff. To the extent that you can kind of like put yourself out there and really don't give a fuck what people think, whatever. I mean, in general, not even what you think. That's freeing. It's freeing. I mean, it's interesting that like my main one of my main projects is like to teach people that we don't have a free will, but that's like not having a free will and freedom to feel free. They're completely different concepts. I mean, again, this is like fine, my doing this, if you were to make a video or something, it wouldn't be up to you fundamentally, because causality, because everything has a cause, and the causal chain of actions that regress back from your decision to put your video up there regress to before you were born. So how's that free will? So, but this is like kind of like freeing oneself from these fears. It's fears. It's like peer pressure. It's like um, conformity. You got to be like I don't know who like, but you know, it's like people aren't comfortable doing this. I guess it's kind of like, you know, and I'm just rambling. I'm sorry, but I guess it's kind of like, you know, like at one point in civilization or before civilization, whatever, I don't know. Somebody just like got up and started dancing. It was probably a woman, probably a kid. I don't know. So like, you know, then like then then a few people, you know, caught on. Hey, this is fun, right? But I would imagine it probably took a long time for the vast majority of these tribes or whatever kind of like, you know, societies they had to to join the fun. You know, ordinarily the first dancers are probably viewed out of their fucking minds. You know, what are these? They have lost their minds. They're just dancing around. And I would hope that that music preceded dance. You know, that they were just dancing to anything. So, but even that, you know, like so, like you know, maybe like um, maybe like a couple of guys or some guys like chopping wood with one of these like you know stone axes or something, and then he starts creating a beat, you know, like instead of like clomp clomp clomp, he goes clomp 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 clomp, and all of a sudden music's formed, right? And then probably like the first guys around are saying, what the fuck is this guy doing? And so like so yeah, maybe this like videoing stuff, I mean like I don't know if like I think putting photographs of oneself on the video on the internet, like one does in Facebook and Instagram and all that, I think you know is seems to be like within the norm, you know, because photographs people shared photographs, you know, for so long. It's just that it's like the video is like, you know, it's related to like you know most people are more afraid of dying than they are. No, sorry. Most people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of dying, and that'll tell you how, you know, how threatening, you know, talking in front. And what are the fears, right? And, all right. So this isn't completely about happiness. This is about collective happiness. This isn't necessarily about my happiness. It's my prediction that if the world got out there and started just saying shit, whatever they wanted to say, you know, just like put yourself out there and just overcome this stuff, then maybe when you're out in public you'll be a little less uptight, you know, more open to interaction. Because I don't interact with most people because I don't seem like they're open to interaction. But I usually have a good radar. If somebody's open to interaction, you know, I'm there. But yeah, that would be a so like oh I had a thought. So yeah, so what are people afraid of? I mean, like, I think people are afraid of what they'll say. I mean, you know, um, of not having anything significant to say. Or maybe it's not a fear. Maybe they say to themselves, well, if I don't have anything significant to say, what am I, what am I doing? You know, it's not entertaining. You know, my Facebook friends are going to like watch it and not be entertained and all. But I don't think that's the point, you know, at least initially. You know, the point is just to do it, you know, to just to to free yourself from the constraint, to free yourself from the fear. Um, you know, well, yeah, I guess a lot of people just don't have the need to do this. I'm more of an artist, so like, you know, this is kind of like art in a sense, you know, just trying to do something different, something that's not ordinarily done. I mean, it's not like, I mean, again, like the YouTube is saturated by with videos. Most of them are talking on a topic. But I guess the other thing is not you know a lot of them are kind of like young kids. Much fewer people my age are, especially, when you see people my age doing something on video on the internet, it's something they've prepared, it's something, they're giving a speech or something's been, video recorded, whatever. It's not, most people just wouldn't um, go and just talk, not knowing what they're going to say. Um, I don't know. I guess people have. I think it's insecurity. I mean, like, in a way, I mean, like, in other words, like, lack of enough self confidence, or self acceptance, or either that or being too other directed. In other words, a lot of people are too consumed with what other people might think and feel about them. And my life is much different from that of most people, so they could be right to a great extent. In other words, like, maybe a lot of people have these high powered jobs where like, if one of their Facebook friends, found the video and then the boss found it or something, I mean, they might be out of the job. I mean, it sucks. There's this guy who he was telling us that we were talking about free will, and he was telling us that if he would go, around his where he works and tell people that nobody had a free will, that change the locks, that he'd be out, because it's such a and that's insane. I mean, like, but that's how constrained people are. That is how, everybody's walking lockstep to this convention that, again, the average level of happiness is 70% here in the United States. Even the happiest people are only happy 50% of the time. Fuck. I mean, that's why, I hope this marijuana movement speeds along, because what happens is, like, with marijuana, I think, maybe there's other drugs, I don't know, but you begin to feel, just really feel a lot better. You get in touch with these feelings much more. It's much easier, and the hope would be that, like, as more and more people smoke marijuana and feel better, they realize how sucky their lives are when they don't smoke it, or how sucky civilization is, where people are, like, just mildly happy and hardly ever happy, then then, I mean, it might be a way to kind of, like, motivate people to, like, look at society and say, oh, we got to change this. We got to teach happiness in schools. We got to, like, learn happiness more ourselves by these books. Practice it just like we go to the gym. Do some happiness practice. Um, yeah, yeah. I really, sometimes I'm much more, and it's not like I'm completely, all right, it's 5:14 and I forget when I started. That's all right. Um, Sometimes I'm more self-conscious than I am right now. And again, it might be that I was meditating for like 5 hours on my back, and that maybe relaxes me some. Um, but, um, so I'm thinking what to say, and isn't that a perfect example of how we don't have a free will? I'm waiting for thoughts to come into my mind. That's what we do. Somebody says something, oh, you wait for a thought to come into your mind, or the thought just comes into your mind as somebody's saying it, and sometimes you have to even interrupt the person because, like, the thought wants to get out so quickly. You don't even wait. This is not free will. This is like, thoughts coming into our minds. That's the way the world is. Um, I thought, I might want to do some of these, like, in audio, like if I'm away from here or something, like just record it on my smartphone or something. But I don't know. I mean, I could do that. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I really don't have much to say. I'm sorry. I just don't have much to say. And I can talk about not having much to say. What are you going to say? It's not coming out. If I had a free will, I'd be the most entertaining, informative, erudite, person on the planet. But then everybody else would be. So, like, also. Um, that's why we don't have a free will. Um, okay, what else? This is kind of dark. Again, like I definitely got to work on the lighting. I moved the table a bit closer to me, but still, it's like really, really dark. And like, what I may end up doing is moving that other light that I was using, to here, because I think that other light just like, it just spreads the light out much, much better. And I'll use these lights that I'm using here, for my workstation because I don't think I need as much light. I'll see. I don't know. Or I might, yeah, I don't know. I'll do that. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Um, and see, here's the thing. So this might be a long, fucking boring video, and like, it's just like nobody's going to listen to it or watch it. I'm not even going to listen to it or watch it after I do it. But it's it's like it's it's being done to be done. Because think of how we spend our days. Like a lot of us are like glued to the TV set watching maybe a couple of football games this time of year on TV. 6 hours of football, or running around shopping, buying stuff, or reading books, or just watching movies or something. But it's always, a lot of this stuff is passive. I mean, the shopping isn't passive, but I'm not sure there's much meaning. Yeah, maybe there's meaning to. I mean, when you're shopping, I guess this time of year you're shopping for people, so you're thinking about people and stuff. I don't know, but a lot of what we do is passive. Watching TV. It's like, but this is kind of like more active, and it's in a sense it's kind of like doing something that doesn't have any significance other than sometimes that it's done. I mean, like, in other words, like, sometimes I say things that I believe are very, very, very useful to the world, but some other times, I'm just talking and I don't have much to say, and yeah, there's no utility beyond what the utility might be for me to kind of like maybe explore this state of like talking when I really don't know what to talk about, because it's an interesting state. Ordinarily, it's not expressed. Ordinarily, when people don't have anything to say, they shut up and they just like they're quiet and like so then and I see this a lot. I mean, I see this like in not so much in Manhattan, but here in White Plains. I mean, people in coffee shops, couples, people, they will go to a coffee shop and be with another person and not say a word to each other. What the fuck is that about? And that is so pervasive, I don't get it. Um, but I mean, I guess, I shouldn't knock it so much because maybe they're kind of like in a meditative state that, they're just like soaking in the vibes in some other way or something. I don't know. But a lot of times they're just, no, they sit down and they're like both looking through magazines or something. I don't know. Nah, all right, I'm being overly critical. I mean, if people want to go to coffee shops and not talk, maybe they're meditating, right? They are meditating in a way. They're kind of like just, you know, they're being aware. It's like mindfulness meditation. They're being mindful of their surroundings. The surroundings in the coffee shop are different than their surroundings at home and all that stuff. They're just like, whatever. Um, okay. Um, so my back hurts a little, but I expect the pain. If it didn't hurt, nothing would be happening. So again, I'm gonna immerse myself in a bit more pain after this, and hopefully entertain myself, like listening to these podcasts or whatever. Because I don't feel like meditating, you know, anymore. I don't think, at least not for a while. Maybe later. Um, but I will take a shower. Yeah, I'm gonna start because like as this is uploading to YouTube, I'll take a shower. And I don't think I'm gonna like. Maybe I won't take a shower because like then I was thinking I don't think I'm gonna go out. I don't want to go out. I don't know why I don't want to go out. I guess because I'm feeling really relaxed. I'm feeling a little tired from being in Manhattan all day yesterday. I don't know what the weather's like. Um, I wish I would have done this earlier because like then the light was better. But whatever. So welcome to the I have nothing to say show. I mean, this is the show where we talk about not having anything to say. Why do we not have anything to say? Um, so happiness. All right. Again, let me try to like pull my focus back. It's all supposed to be about happiness. And apparently this is making me happy. When you watch a football game, that's making you happy. When you go shopping, that's making you happy. Whatever you do it to make to be happier or to be happy, whatever. Happier. But but again, the thing with happiness is, let's say you're you're an actor. Okay, so like you're going to act, and you're going to act in plays and movies and stuff. Let's say you get a lot of work. I mean, whatever. I don't know, just hypothetically. But let's say you don't think about acting. You don't explore what acting is. You don't practice acting. You don't learn about acting. You don't question what you're doing and all. So you just like acting and stuff, and you might act relatively well, right? But you're probably not going to be a good actor, you know. Just like and so this is a lot of, I think, the analogy I think is pretty direct. This is what we do um, with happiness. We just like we go out into the world and into our lives and stuff, and like, yeah, I'm going to be happy, but I have no idea, what really happiness is, or all this stuff. I mean, it's true. It's true. Most people, it's kind of, like, you know, I mean, there's kind of like anecdotal, you know, like somebody who's never taken an acting lesson, never read anything about acting, they kind of have an idea of what you do when you act, right? But it's so rudimentary, and I think that's the problem that we face with happiness. Our understanding of no, it's worse with happiness because like um, I'm not sure how many myths or misconceptions there might be relative to acting, but with happiness, people are so off the mark. If I get this new job, I'm gonna be happier. If I get this new promotion, if I get this new house, this new car, this new wife, this new life, and all those things together, I mean, all that stuff, like it won't amount to more than 5% of your happiness. I mean, all the demographics, like where you live, where you were born, whether you're male or female. Again, it's all these circumstantial things that you can't really change immediately, whatever. 10% of your happiness. So, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, there's a lot of myths. So not only do we go about our happiness in a very rudimentary, haphazard, uninformed, unenlightened, clueless way. We go about it seeking it we seek it in ways that just don't work. Just don't work. Period. I mean, there's not. Um, or if they work, I mean, they're so like, you're expending so much effort and energy and time and money and whatever else for like such a trivial, insignificant effect. Um, that's, this guy that I'm listening to his podcast. Um, he's good because he gets it. These Buddhist guys, they get it. Buddha, he wasn't like the other the other religious leaders in the world, like Jesus and Muhammad and Moses. And, Buddha was completely about happiness. That's all he was about. He didn't claim to know what happens after you die. He didn't claim to know the nature of God. He said, well, it's all about happiness. And later, some people added to Buddhism their own stuff that I think just basically diluted it. If Buddhism would have been like, you know, laser focused on happiness, throughout its however long it's been around, I think since 500 BC, I don't know. Then, like some people would be super blissed out. A lot of people. Um, all right. I feel like getting closer because I can hardly see myself, like, all right, I'm going to mess with the camera a bit and like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to like bring it closer and closer and closer and see what that does. That's better. That's a little better, I think, right? I can see myself a little better. I should put on my other glasses where I can see myself even better. Next time maybe. All right. So this is kind of cool. I mean, in a way, I feel like a little bad that I don't have really anything major to say. In a way, I really feel good about it because it's kind of like, um, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting to just like talk and not be saying much. And again, what's cool is like I look on, when I used to post on Facebook, the problem was that that it doesn't give view statistics. It doesn't tell you how many people have watched your video, but YouTube does. So like, I think the last video I made yesterday is maybe 5, I don't know. Before that, maybe 8, whatever, for the one before that. Very few people watch this, which is kind of interesting. Kind of like, yeah, yeah. So, oh, I was just thinking it'd be really cool though, because like even like the people who watch these things, um, because like I think there was some statistic some time ago that like people channel surf when they watch TV, so they're not watching anything more than let's say 10 minutes on average. They're just surfing back and forth. So I'm guessing even like the people who watch this stuff, maybe they skip along, see if I have anything to say later in the video, or whatever. But I'm guessing the people even who watch this stuff hardly watch it at all anyhow, just for maybe a minute or two, if that. So this is kind of like putting it out there, knowing that it's not going to, attract much attention. Now with my TV shows, I put them up out there, and they don't get all that many views, but it's a very targeted audience. It's not like, I'm basically aiming to influence people who would, let's say, be interested in the topic enough to write a book about it, do something, to advance it. And so I think, I'm pleased with, that's, yeah, well, I should probably get more views on that though, yeah. I don't know, whatever. Um, so happiness, happiness. See, the problem with our happiness is that we attach it to reasons for being happy. And like, this kind of like goes against Buddha's second noble truth of like, suffering is a result of attachment. So like, to the extent we're even like attaching happiness to things, to goals, to aspirations, to wants, whatever, then that's going to constrain our happiness in that way. Um, and again, I'm not saying that it's easy, and part of the reason it's not easy is um, because it's not in the culture. Because I want to like take these controls. I'm just experimenting. Yeah, no, it doesn't make much of a difference. I just close the control thing. But but um, yeah, um, part of the problem is that trying to like go about happiness in the right way in a world that goes about it completely topsy-turvy, just like, well, not completely, but just like so misguidedly. You're kind of like it's kind of like, like when you're a kid or whatever, and like your mom or whatever didn't want you to like hang out with a person because you thought they were a bad influence. She thought they were a bad influence, whatever. This is kind of like the problem with happiness. I mean, even if you know a lot, the whole fucking world is a bad influence on on smart happiness, on wise happiness. So like, it's not easy, but the key is, yeah, that to kind of like, and that's I'm just beginning to really focus on this in my experience. Just the idea that that the highest happiness, or maybe not, I don't know, just generally a very, very wise happiness is a happiness that isn't contingent upon anything. That's just like, it's not that you're happy for any reason or about anything, but just that you're happy just because of the recognition that it feels good. It's the most direct route to happiness. Now, having said that, because we live in a world with other people and stuff, because as I was saying that, this thought came into my mind. Again, another example of how I don't have free will. It just came into my mind. Well, like happiness through love of others, thinking about others. That's sometimes maybe it's a more meaningful, higher form of happiness than a happiness that's completely autonomous of everything. I don't know. I have to think about that more. I mean, like part of it is like, you can think of happiness as God. So like, you love God, so you love happiness. So like your relationship is with happiness, you know. And it's kind of cool to see happiness as like a being or a force or an actual entity, because I think it is. These emotions, yeah, we can describe them physiologically, neurochemically, and all that stuff, but that's just the plumbing. There's a lot more to them, especially with something like happiness that is the goal of everything. That's the thing. We were talking about this yesterday in the meetup. Happiness is all there is what there is. I mean, it's so central, it's so pivotal to every moment of our lives. I mean, like, we were kind of like, we're talking about winning. Somebody said, well, like, to me, happiness is winning, right? And then we explored, all right, like, let's say you win at everything. You have the most money, you have the most friends, you have the biggest house, you have everything. Everybody, the most famous person. Every possible victory. You've won 90 gold medals at the Olympics, whatever. You've got like, you've won everything. So like, but you're not at all happy. I mean, compare that with somebody who like who's like the lowest on all that stuff, doesn't have any money, doesn't have a house, like can't even run, just like doesn't have any friends, whatever. But that person is supremely happy or just even happy. I mean, who do you think is luckier? That's the thing. Um, Winning, when you win, you can, it's not winning about these contests, these artificial contests to just win to win. It's winning happiness. Yeah, sure, sometimes winning in different games of life help you to become happier, but a lot of times you spend a lot of time trying to win, preparing to win. You might win, you may not win, and sometimes when you win, well, then somebody else comes along and then beats you, and then you're no longer on top, or just like you're afraid somebody's going to come along. And I don't know. There's a lot of complications with that kind of competition. Um, yeah. So like, I forgot. I had another thought, but it's gone. Had to do with yesterday. All right, I'm getting tired, but that's all right. This is like my exercise. I didn't go out. Like this is my socializing today. Socializing myself on this, on this Logitech HD Pro C910 camera that doesn't work well on this computer. It works on my other computer. Eventually I'll reinstall it or something. I don't know what to do. Because apparently there's some conflict with some other kind of video program. But I uninstalled Skype. I uninstalled this Chromecast app that I had on there. And so you'd figure that'd be enough, but it isn't. I mean, like, worst comes to worst, I may have to, anytime I want to. The only reason I'm using this computer now is like to make these videos and upload them. So, like, I might have to just like restart the computer each time I want to do this. And that's not so horrible. That's not a horrible thing to do. So, all right, what else? All right, right now, see, I haven't been smiling as I'm doing this because smiling and talking for me is hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people. It depends. I mean, if you're in front of people, sometimes it's easier, whatever. No, it's hard because, like, part of it is it's hard for me. Part of it because, like, some people, when they talk, they're like entertaining more. They're just like purposely trying to entertain. What isn't to entertain? To try to like make the person, the object of your entertainment, happier. So it's kind of like trying to like create happiness-inducing thoughts, and that kind of entertainment I think is going to make you happier. But all right, but my particular style of communication, I don't think is much about that. It's much more about imparting information and thinking. And so like so I'm like up against this like it's hard to smile when you're trying to like think more incisive thoughts. Just try to reach some level of profundity. Some it's just dig under the layers to some new understandings. Both either personally or societally, whatever. But so it's hard. I mean, like, and I don't feel like smiling right now. I mean, like, I don't know why. I mean, because like in meditation, or not in meditation, in meditation, they describe some state of existence, like you can reach through meditation. That it's like it's once you've reached this like bliss. Once you've blissed out, they refer to another state that's even beyond bliss. I don't get that. I don't completely doubt it. I've never experienced it, but it's intriguing because it's like there's something greater than happiness, according to this. But again, you can only reach it after 20 years or 40 years of meditation, intensive meditation, and just I don't know. Doesn't seem so very realistic for most of us. Oh man, yeah, I am tired. But like so. I'm feeling that this isn't done yet. I haven't finished, doing what, the universe seems to have me feel I need to do with this. And then now I'm thinking, well, maybe I have. So what do I know? Um, 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 and I am, again, my back still hurts. It really does. Kind of like a dull pain, but it feels like a good pain also. I want to get back to this, just this savasana position, this yoga position, whatever. I'm just meditating, maybe listening to podcasts, whatever. And all right, that's another thing. For example, like, this is like this is how difficult happiness is, and how incredibly difficult it is. I'm glad I'm getting to this. Like, so I mean, because like I view myself as somebody who's studied happiness extensively, for years, and and if I would choose, as I'm going to be choosing to do, once I get back to this yoga, whatever, to listen to a podcast than to just practice feeling happy or practice getting in touch with that feeling of happiness, something is amiss. Something is why would I do that? See, like, I mean, one possible answer, I mean, like, all right, one possible answer, I think, is that getting better at anything, whether it's acting or instrument or happiness, whatever, um, requires energy. And today I don't feel like going out even. So like I don't feel very energetic. So that's part of it, all right. But there's more to it than that. It's like I say to myself, well, like I could, feel happier. I could, like, summon up that feeling of happiness and meditate on it. But as much as I intellectually value it, that, happiness, whatever, understand it's all there is, it's as if, like, my mind isn't convinced in some way. Like, my mind at the present moment thinks, well, um, it would be more productive to listen to a podcast. I mean, I could, like, I'm still undecided. I could just, like, meditate on I could repeat the word happiness, because there's several levels of effort that I think could play into this. Part of this might be that, like, all right, the first level is I'm repeating the word happiness, but I'm not really thinking of, like, trying to become happier. I'm just kind of like, trying to strengthen those connections in the least effortful way possible. The second, you know, more effective means, or more energetic means, is that I'm repeating the word happiness, but also, like, tapping into the emotion, like, evoking the feeling of happiness while I'm repeating the word. Okay, and then, the third one, the third most energetic form of this is, like, that as I'm invoking the emotion, I'm not satisfied just with that, but I want to amplify it. I want to, like, make it stronger and stronger, and like, I guess along with that, to just, like, extend it, to not just have it like a burst of, like, happiness, but, like, to just, like, have it extend for seconds and moments and minutes, whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, that's the curious. I mean, like, so, and you want to know something, like, the happiness researchers, like psychologists, they're clueless about this kind of stuff. They don't get into it on this level, because, like, in a certain sense, it's almost philosophical, and the philosophers are clueless too. I mean, they don't know what they're doing. Um, but it's important, like, why would we opt for anything but feeling really happy or feeling happier. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about like opting for things that, we need to do, like go to work or do whatever we have to do. I'm talking about, when we have like, leisure time, the time is our own to do with it whatever we want. Why would we, consider even doing anything? All right, one, no, 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 I can't, one answer to this is like that, just like with acting, if you want to practice acting, fine, but if you study acting, then when you practice it, you'll practice better. So maybe that's part of it. So like, if I listen to the podcast and I learn more, and I'm listening not just to my own thoughts about it, but this other person's, then that might result in a greater payoff than if I just like focused on happiness now. You know, doesn't make well. Maybe I'm still not convinced with that because like happiness isn't in a certain sense like acting or playing an instrument. It's far more basic than that. I mean, like happiness, you're feeling happy, you got it. That's it. That's it could be explained in terms of a lot of sub skills. Like appreciating and I don't know, feeling optimistic, whatever. I don't. I mean, but these are means of happiness actually. But but I think what's lacking in me and in the world is a proper, sufficient appreciation of happiness, of what it is. I think it's very nebulous for us. It's a feeling, but we don't fully appreciate that it's not just a feeling, that it's like it's all we want, it's all anyone ever wants, ever wanted. Um, all right, I think yes. I think I was waiting for, so it's like 5:47. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I was waiting to get to something relatively substantial, so I didn't feel like I was just like talking about nothing the whole time. And again, I doubt anyone is going to view it, but that's fine. And so I've done this is like my self-imposed discipline, my self-imposed, exploration, which is good. And so it's done. So I'm going to upload it and get back to my yoga and meditation. And oh, 58 minutes. Yeah, I don't have to go a whole hour. All right, so I'll see you guys soon.